Oh, good one.
I'm Laura Robinson, and I wanted to create a Tourette's Awareness Day after my friend Amy ended her life last year after spending years feeling misjudged and bullied, and the tragedy's kind of given me the motivation to do something she would have wanted to do.
Sure. There's 3 things, Biscuit, you're going to need to know about me straight away. Biscuit. The first is that you're going to get to hear the word biscuit and hedgehog a lot. Biscuit. So biscuit, hedgehog, cat. Biscuit. The second thing, Biscuit, is that several times a day, Biscuit, my tics intensify, Biscuit, to a point where I lose, Biscuit, complete control of my speech, Biscuit, and my body. Biscuit. If that happens, Biscuit, during this talk, we'll need to stop, and my support worker Matthew will come and help me, Biscuit, but don't worry, it will pass. Biscuit, hedgehog. Biscuit, third thing you need to know is that if I tick, Biscuit, or say something funny, Biscuit, you absolutely have permission to laugh. Biscuit, hedgehog. Cat.
Hello, my name is Curtis Hart. I have Tourette's. Living with Tourette's makes me emotionally and mentally tired, especially when I'm in public, because I don't want people to see me tick. When I talk to my friends, I get annoyed with myself as I find it difficult to get the words I want to say out of my mouth. People often say the word for me because my tics make it slower for me to say it, what I'm thinking of, what I'm trying to say. I prefer it if people did not complete my sentences for me and allow me time to say what I want to say. I used to not like talking about it when I was younger because I got verbally bullied. But now, as I'm older, I haven't even been bullied at all since being at Ruskin Mill.
Biscuit. The first thing I want to say about Tourette's, Biscuit, on a sort of amazing Tourette's Awareness Day, Biscuit, is that Tourette's, there's lots of myths and stereotypes, Biscuit, about Tourette's as a condition. And the biggest one is that most people with Tourette's swear, or that it's the swearing disease, Biscuit. Copralia, which is involuntary swearing, only affects 10% of people with Tourette's. So 90% of people with Tourette's, Biscuit, don't have any swearing tics at all. Biscuit. I am one of the 10% that do, hedgehog, Biscuit. But even for me, Biscuit, involuntary swearing is a tiny, Biscuit, proportion of the, Biscuit, stuff I say, or Biscuit, involuntarily. Hedgehog. Everybody, Biscuit, who has Tourette's will have, Biscuit, multiple, Biscuit, motor tics, so involuntary movements, Biscuit, Biscuit, and some, at least one vocal tic, Biscuit. Vocal tics can be just sniffing and really simple, or they can be hedgehog, hedgehog, complex words and phrases. They can be biscuits, they can be hedgehogs, hedgehog, hedgehog, hedgehog. Biscuit, about 300,000 people in the UK are estimated to have Tourette's, Biscuit, and some of those people will have very mild tics that you might not notice, Biscuit, hedgehog, and some of them will have much more dramatic tics, Biscuit, that you'll be able to see really easily. Hedgehog, cats. Her. Ta-da! Biscuit. So vocal tics, Biscuit, as you can hear, Biscuit can be very, Biscuit can be very simple. They can just be little squeaks or hummings, Biscuit, or whistling, hedgehog, and they can be very, very complicated, Biscuit, hedgehog. Sometimes, Biscuit, I say big, complicated phrases, whole sentences as tics, Biscuit. Sometimes these are very funny, Biscuit. One of my favourites is, Biscuit, the history of iguanas is written inside a teapot, hedgehog, Biscuit, hedgehog. Biscuit. I also like Aim Your Dog at the Moon. Hedgehog. Cats. Biscuit. Biscuit. And I'm a stone masquerading as a person. Hedgehog. Cats. Biscuit. Hedgehog. Biscuit. Tics can draw on anything, Biscuit, I've ever known or experienced, Biscuit. So what, Biscuit? Anything that I've ever seen or known about, Biscuit, can suddenly, Biscuit, without warning, just pop back out of my mouth. Biscuit, sometimes ideas, Biscuit, get jammed together, Biscuit, to come out with new things, new strange ideas. Hedgehog. Biscuit. Why certain words become, Biscuit, tics? Hedgehog is a complete mystery to me, Biscuit. I'm really not thinking about biscuits or interested in biscuits nearly as much as I say. Hedgehog, cats, hedgehog, Biscuit. Motor tics are equally diverse, Biscuit, hedgehog. You can see that, Biscuit, I've got tics that mean that I bang my chest hundreds of times a day, Biscuit, and that's why I wear padded gloves to protect my, Biscuit, to protect my hands. Hedgehog, cats. And I also have tics in my legs that make it very hard for me to walk sensibly, Biscuit. I've got a very wobbly walk and very chaotic, so I use a wheelchair, Biscuit, because it's safer than falling down every few steps. Hedgehog, Biscuit, hedgehog. Just like Biscuit, just like vocal tics, Biscuit, motor tics can be really simple, just like blinking, or they can be really complex. Biscuit, movements like jumping or spinning around. Hedgehog, cats. Hello? Hey? Biscuit. I used to find thinking and talking about my tics quite upsetting, like Curtis mentioned earlier. Hedgehog, cats. Hedgehog, Biscuit. And the first tics that I can remember were when I was about 6. Biscuit. But for me, they got worse in my early 20s. For lots of people with Tourette's, tics do get better as you enter adulthood. But for some people, they stay, or they do get more severe and more noticeable. Hedgehog, cats. In 2010, I started an organisation, called Tourette's Hero. And Tourette's Hero, is an organisation that celebrates the creativity, and humour of Tourette's, and aims to share it with as many people as possible. Cats. Hedgehog. We run a website that is for everybody, with and without Tourette's, and on the website we share thousands of things that I've said as tics and invite people to respond creatively, by making artwork or writing poems, Hedgehog, or producing music. And we've got about 5,500 tics on the website and a gallery full of hundreds of images, all the way from children to professional artists and illustrators. And the idea, my friend Matthew, who's also the co-founder of Tourette's Hero, one of the things that he said that really changed how I thought about Tourette's, was that he described it as, a crazy language generating machine, and he said that if I not to do something creative, with my tics would be wasteful. And that one phrase, really changed how I thought about it. And creating Tourette's Hero, was an opportunity to stop seeing my tics as a problem, and let them be my power. And in fact, let them be my superpower, because Tourette's Hero is a superhero. Hedgehog. The reason that we created Tourette's Hero, was to dispel lots of the myths and stereotypes about Tourette's, and to reclaim the laughter associated with it. Lots of people use Tourette's as a sort of lazy joke, and there are some things, about having Tourette's, that are quite funny. Some of the tics are quite funny, some of the experiences I have, can be quite funny, but Tourette's in itself isn't funny, but we wanted to use humour as a way, to encourage people to think differently about the condition. Hedgehog.
Yeah, when you try to control it as much as possible, it makes you more angry with yourself, and you get worse and worse and worse. And that happened to me loads of times before. And some people find it embarrassing. Some people can deal with it, but if you can't deal with it, it's even harder, and it can make you mentally tired and physically tired. There's someone in like a dance band called Bass Hunter, and he's got it, and he went on Big Brother as well, and people didn't know he had it at all. Yeah, and that was really good, knowing that. And he said how he managed to deal with it. And
people knowing about Tourette's, days like this, people understanding more about tics and Tourette's, makes a massive difference, in my day-to-day life, and in the day-to-day life of someone who's living with tics. People being able to recognise and understand, that it's tics and it's Tourette's, and that I'm not drunk or dangerous. Hedgehog is really important. Breaking down the fear that people sometimes feel is brilliant, and I can feel a real difference when people understand, Hedgehog, that I have Tourette's. Hedgehog. Somebody mentioned Pete Bennett earlier, and I definitely remember when Pete Bennett was on Big Brother. Suddenly, people were able to identify on the bus that I had Tourette's syndrome, and I'd hear them talking and say, "Oh, it's like what Pete Bennett has." That felt important to me, and a step in the right direction, and it was one of the things that motivated me, to start Tourette's Hero. Hedgehog, cats. Ta-da! But there's another really important reason why we're here, today, and a very sad reason why we're here today, and a reason, that Hedgehog is why raising awareness of Tourette's is so important. 2 years ago, I met a young person with Tourette's syndrome, who made a big impression on me, and that was Amy. Amy was bright, she was chatty, and she was warm, and she had a brilliant sense of humour, and we met at a support group for people with Tourette's. Hedgehog. Amy hadn't met anyone else, with tics before, and she was really eager to learn about other people's experience. She was also very concerned that everybody in the group, was happy and comfortable and had someone to talk to. Sadly, Amy wasn't always extended that same thought and consideration. Biscuit. Amy had a very difficult time at school and hadn't always been shown given the understanding that she deserved. Hedgehog. In November last year, when she was only 14, Amy died. She was found dead in a hospital unit that was supposed to be looking after her. Amy had suffered a great deal as the result of people's poor understanding of Tourette's. Biscuit, and that's why days like today are important, and why changing attitudes towards Tourette's, Biscuit, isn't a nice added extra, but is absolutely essential. Hedgehog. While the understanding of strangers is certainly important, Hedgehog, it's even more important that the people we see every day understand us, particularly when it's a person in a position of authority like a teacher or a doctor. Hedgehog. Hedgehog. Biscuit. Amy had lots of friends who cared for her a great deal. Biscuit. And today was organised by her friend Laura. And I've got a message that Laura has asked me to read on her behalf. So I'm going to read Laura's message now. Biscuit. Amy was a pleasure to have as a friend. Biscuit. She was kind, caring and thoughtful of others. Biscuit. That's why it's so sad to know that not everyone was like this towards her. My beautiful friend ended her life last year. Biscuit. Hedgehog. Biscuit. After spending years feeling misunderstood and judged. I remember her telling me that she often felt out of place. Biscuit. I know I'll never see Amy again and it breaks my heart. Biscuit. I wish I could have been there for her more. Biscuit. I'm doing this day in her memory. I miss her so much. Not Biscuit. Not a day goes past when she's not on my mind. So please make the time to understand people's feelings. Good night, Amy. Sleep tight, my love. My angel, I love you. Biscuit. Fuck. Biscuit. I used to think that attitude change was a long, Biscuit, slow process. I thought it was something that you had to work really hard at and you had to battle for. What I've learnt through having Tourette's and through Tourette's Hero, Biscuit, is that attitude change often happens very quickly. Biscuit, it's just as simple as an answered question or a quick conversation, Biscuit, or sharing a joke or a moment with somebody. Biscuit. Biscuit, there's not much that can be done, Biscuit, to change the physical impact of Tourette's, Biscuit, but we can all play, Biscuit, a part in changing the social impact. Hedgehog. So, Biscuit, what can you do to help? Please tell people about this talk and about Amy. Biscuit, if someone says Tourette's is just about swearing, please set them straight. Biscuit, please show understanding to people who are different, Biscuit, and try not to make assumptions and do ask questions. Hedgehog. Biscuit. Try and put yourself in other people's position, Biscuit, and think about how you would like to be treated. Hedgehog. Biscuit. Cats. The most important thing having Tourette's has taught me is if something's not working, then change it. Biscuit. What, Biscuit? Hedgehog. If there's ever an occasion when you are tempted to make an assumption, someone who appears to be different, please think of Amy, Biscuit, and take the time to make sure that you're not misjudging them. Together we can all help change the world, one tick at a time. Biscuit.
It's about raising awareness, trying to help people understand, and it's also to raise money, which will be split into 3 parts. 1/3 of it will be given to the Tourette's Hero charity, 1/3 of it will be given to counselling at Ruskin Mill, and the other third will be given to speech and language at Ruskin Mill College. The Ruskin Mill Trust online, so people could donate online and say specifically that they'd want it to go to the Tourette's charity.